Hell yeah. Oh my fucking god, I love this song. Oh, I just fucked up my chat. Hi Oli, how are you? Chat? Chat. Chicky chicky bun bun, a chicky 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 bun bun, a chicky chicky bun bun, a chicky chicky bun. Oh my fuck! I fucking love this song, dude. I work out to this song. When I'm at the gym, I'll work out to this song. The fucking dance, the fucking. The chicky chicky bun bun. That fucking dance, it's so fucking good, dude. How are you, Oli? What's going on? Am I even centered? A cheeky cheeky chan chan, a cheeky cheeky bun bun. Absolutely fucking goated. Alright, Xbox Game Pass, where are you? Nope, we're playing some anime music on autoplay now. But how are you, Oli? Let me make sure that my chat is actually somewhat visible because I fucked it up earlier. Azunanoni. Don't know. Why no? Oh, fuck. I actually did know the lyrics. I was gonna say I don't know the lyrics, but I did know the lyrics. I'm doing pretty good. I just got back from the gym, ate some food. And I've been doing a decent job of editing and adding those edits to like TikTok and Twitter and stuff. Which has been good practice for me to get back into streaming because I'm washed. I feel so rusty at streaming and like so many things in general online. But I do genuinely enjoy making stuff though. Have you seen any of the edits I posted on Twitter, Oli? Let's see. Where is the game? Ba-da-da-da-da-da. How are you doing? What's going on with you? Uh, as soon as this goes in, I'll switch to it. My Twitter is wild. It goes from wholesome to oh damn, real quick. Oh, so it's not like wait, what kind of damn? What kind of damn we talking about here? It's like oh damn, that's going on in the world right now, or it's like oh damn, I can't show that in public. Which one is it? You know what I'm talking about? All right, love you, Full Metal Alchemist, but we going in the game. Okay, so the oh damn, you doing that fucking thing just reminded me. Somewhere around here, my glasses in here. It's probably not charged, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah, I got one of these. I got one of these. I used to when I did this. I used to do the fucking. Have to charge it though. It's snowing. I'm going to freeze to death. I went outside today in shorts. And it was freezing. I felt like an idiot. But I was going to the gym, so I mean, like after a little bit of working out, it wasn't too bad. But like I was walking towards the gym, I was just like, I'm shivering my ass off. This shit sucks. I'm gonna switch the game scene here. I'm gonna capture the game, and I just fucked with my chat again. Fuck me. There we go. And the game we're playing today is Life is Strange: True Colors. I'm going to try to continue this and beat it by tomorrow. I want to finish it and beat it tomorrow, and then on Friday, I think I'm doing a collab thing with Saji, Danko, and Rue. But you reminded me, Oli, I must charge this. This. Oh no, I can't watch. You've never played True Colors? Is that what it is? But it's definitely understandable. That's the case. Do I not have a charger? Porteous? Talking gun? Uh no, although that is strange. That was something else. Life is Strange is more of like a what is it? It's like a I was about to say Telltale game, Telltale? The Walking Dead guys. It's kind of like that. Where it's you make choices and then regret them later because you're an idiot who can't make the right choices. Okay, I think I'm charging them now. Okay. I think I'm charging them now. There's a wire in it. Don't mind me. It's being used. Isn't that fucking fantastic? It's like I fucking love it. But I'll charge it up. I haven't used it in a while. Oh, we got yeah, it's fantastic, and it goes well along with my other pair of glasses, um, which I actually plan on doing something with. Pairs well with this one, which are my steampunk glasses, but it does this little neat trick, where I can do this. Uh-huh. All right. Ba-da-da-dum. But have you seen any of my shorts recently? Because if not, I'm gonna play one for you. I'm gonna play one for you. What the fuck? Oh my god! Hold up. I'm just gonna type it in here. Click that. Don't mind the tabs. Don't mind the 50 bajillion tabs. I just followed your Twitter. Well, thank you. Hopefully you get to enjoy all the wholesome shit. I don't really retweet like lewd shit, although it does appear on my timeline quite often. um, but if there's like ever really cool art that has nudity in it, that's like really cool, where it's not like lewd, you'll probably see titties. Which one is it? I think it was this one. Do you ever feel sad when your homies die in games? My knowingness? I mean, it's understandable.
Alright then.
Here it comes. No! Oh, whoa! I said no, but hold up, he got that dumpy though.
Got that dumpy.
Bum, bum, bum.
That was,
That's for posterity. I was about to say. I'm curious if I should have ended the video a bit earlier instead of like this last chunk. Maybe I end it a little bit early. But I mean that's just my perfectionist brain coming out, wanting to do shit. But yeah, like I've been doing those edits. Priorities? Yeah, priorities. I've been doing those type of edits for the past like 5 days, and each day I've uploaded something new. And I've had a long streaming career, so I feel like I can just go back in time, find a whole bunch of random ass clips, edit them each day, and post them up. That's gonna be my goal for like this month at least. Just consistently post stuff on Twitter and TikTok, and then hopefully consistently stream as well. Cause my lazy ass, I'll get to the point where I'm like, I want to stream, and then I did not stream. Saw the slob bunnies. Oh my, that's an old clip. Love him. But that was the first time I ever heard of it, like years back, and it fucking got me. It fucking got me, dude. That was like the first one to get me out of like all those jokes as well. Slob bunnies. Did I just hear a sound? That was weird. Literally the first one of those type of jokes to ever get me, as far as I can tell. It got me, and it got me good. But it is what it is. There's Steph's story, which I'd have to buy, but I do want to play it. But we are continuing with chapter 4. This is later on. Also have buns on the other. No, don't worry. Don't worry. You're fine. This is chapter 4. Tell Bun I said hi. Call her a dork. Actually, while I'm at it, I'm gonna shout out Buns. Even though I think it's just E right now in chat. I know Asian was here earlier, but they haven't played this game yet, so I think they're lurking. Bunsen Berry. What? Something went wrong when attempting to shout out. What? What? Hi, Sunny. How are you? I'm having issues with shouting someone out. Something went wrong when it. What? What? Nani? How are you, Sunny? What's going on? I'm good. I'm glad you're good. I am also doing pretty good. Also, stinky Twitch. Yeah, I know. Twitch is the baka. What if I do it on like the browser? Bunsen Berry. Does that work? Something went wrong when attempting to perform the shout. Does Twitch not want me to shout people out anymore? Am I being attacked? Bamboozled? Also, my frames are kind of laggy. I might have to stop lurking for all these different people that I thoroughly enjoy. All right, I think I have to. I love these guys, but I gotta end my lurk. And I think tonight I have to tell my PC to chill out. But just hang on one tab. No, I feel that. Normally when I'm not streaming, I'm dead ass. I'm lurking for like 15 people at once. I'm always just like hopping in between, to see what people are doing. And sometimes I'll have like the audio playing on like six different streams at once, and it's just like, this is chaos. The fact that I can still understand what's going on in six different streams blows my mind. And on the other monitor, or this monitor rather, I'll be working on whatever I'm working on while I'm listening to all the other streams, seeing what people are up to. It's fucking chaotic. My PC is pretty stacked. Unfortunately, I'm not taking too good of care of it right now, and I really should be trying to take better care of it. All right, am I spelling Bunsen's name wrong or something? No, I'm not. It is quite humorous. It is quite humorous to watch multiple streams at once. It's honestly really fucking funny. I also will play like, oh my god.
Tell me what you're doing here.
Let's flip a coin. Heads I tell you, tails we go out on a date. Uh, Thank you so much for the raid there, Hound. Oh shit. Maybe let's see if I can shout out. Congratulations, you guys did it. Let's see if I can shout you out properly.
How am I the only one alive?
It just doesn't work for Bunsen.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Thank you so much for the raid, you dork. That clip is so old. Is it? What are you doing today? You're doing Final Fantasy. Oh, okay, so okay, that's valid. Wait, I just realized. Hound, are you a PNG tuber? It worked earlier for Bunsen. It did? Oh, so it worked. It just didn't tell me it worked. It said something went wrong with attempting to shout out. Oh, I thought you meant Hound. No, we call Hound, Executive Hound, and we call Ray. But I guess Ray has actually popped off on streaming. Since we first met them. Like, I remember, I think it was like the first 25 followers that Ray had. They're always adamant about me calling them Ray. And I still sometimes call them Hound, and then Ray gets like mad at me. It's unfortunate. Yeah, Ray's a good egg. We love Ray. Also, how are you doing, Sage? What's going on? Also, hello, Rager. Hello, how are you doing? Oli, thank you for saying it's a raid. I love it when people are like welcome raiders type vibe. That's awesome. But what were you up to? You were playing Final. I was thinking Final Fantasy 14. It's probably insanely fun to play. I've never watched it much, but I was thinking that like playing it probably is immensely fun, and that's how it is. I feel like for a lot of RPG games. Ray is schmoozing with Fariha now. Schmoozing, is that like kissing? I'm so lost. My brain is so like what? I mean, is that what that means? Schmoozing? Oh, they schmoozed. That has to be what that means. No? Lots of good games coming. What kind of games? Sure. Sure. Nani? Uh, okay, this is for my own sake. I'm gonna look up what schmoozing means. Hmm. Okay. um. Yeah, lots of good games coming. That's valid. I'm curious what games there are though, because well, one, I'm broke. I have a wedding to go for. I can't even afford a plane ticket to Norway right now. I need to spawn cash somehow. It basically means networking. I want Yakuza Ishin. I also want Yakuza Ishin. I can't afford Yakuza Ishin, but I also really want Yakuza Ishin. And I think the Yakuza game series are a huge time sink, but they're also just really fucking fun. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Norway, man, sounds like a cult. Norway? During the summer, it's the same shit. Same shit anywhere else. The only thing is it might rain more often. Think of Norway like Oregon. Uh in the US, if anyone knows what Oregon is like. Let me add you to the I'll give you your firsty dork points. Firsty dork. Can't come up with a better name. I'm so stupid. Hey Squishy. How are you? Ba-dum-bum. I only have Song of Life left to play. Why does that sound so familiar? I'm looking Song of Life up as well. You're not stupid. Okay. Song of Life is Yakuza 6. Okay, that's why. In terms of the Yakuza games, I played Yakuza 0, and I think I played Yakuza Kiwami. I don't think I played Kiwami 2, but I think I played Kiwami because I remember our brother, our koi fish brethren, got murked. Basically. So that's I'm in the equator island of 4 seasons, wet, very wet, dry, and very dry. That's valid. But no, I'm going to Norway soon. And my wedding is gonna be in Norway, so I gotta figure out like paperwork and all that fun jazz and expenses and all that fun jazz and uh suffer from being completely dirt poor, broke, and figuring out how to why do you need to pay fees just for a stamp of approval from government agencies to be like, yeah, your passport is legit or your birth certificate is legit. I have to pay for someone to just say, yeah, that's good. It's fucking stupid. The bureaucracy. At it again. At it again. Um, yeah, it's fucking dumb. I was looking at it today and I kind of got pissed when I'm broke as is. But to carry on from that again, Hound, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Wait. Hound, are you still there? I need to I need to see if you've seen any of my shorts recently. Because I've been trying to work on them. And if anyone ever has any honest, genuine feedback on the shorts, please let me know. Uh, it helps a lot to know. Like if there's anything I need to do or improve, because I don't know shit about the like TikTok space or anything like that. Um, just off the random shit I've seen before, and like someone had a good bit of advice the other day. They said of like instead of waiting for the audio sound to come and hit you, um, try playing the audio like instantly. Like don't give it like a second where it's just silent. Just play it instantly. And that goes so against like my create content creating brain. That it's kind of like, oh, so it's just in your face from the get-go. Which makes sense because it's TikTok, but like shit like that. Like there's a lot of random shit like that that I just don't fully grasp. And I think I'm gonna have to mess with the text a little bit, spacing wise, because of things like descriptions and like how the shit lines up. I have to make the text a bit smaller, I think. It's just a lot of random shit like that. So if anyone has proper advice, just hit me up. I would love it. And I'm glad you enjoyed the short, Sunny. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. But yes,
It's all on this USB drive.
we're playing
All the evidence you need to know
Life is
what happened
Strange.
For Gabe's death and plenty more.
All right. Bring it with you. I'll meet you in an hour.
Thanks. Talk soon.
To sum it up,
one final reminder to head over to the Lathe flower cart and grab a rose before
they're gone. To sum it up, her brother got not murdered, died in an accident-ish.
What can I say? History is
And we're trying to find out like who's at fault and whatnot, basically.
but kept the rose.
But our main girl has superpowers.
Special someone in mind. A rose is a great way to say you care, and an even better way to say, "Hey, look, a rose."
Sounds fun. Is giving away a rose something I'd do?
Yeah.
Maybe. I can decide downstairs.
Is giving? That's such a weird thing to ask.
For now, I'll grab the USB stick.
Main girl is a cutie though. Yeah, she kawaii as fuck. Her power is basically she has the ability to, well, what the game calls it. The game says she's very empathetic. She's an empath, and she can feel what other people are feeling. We call it her being a fucking psychic because she can not only feel what people are feeling, she can read their damn minds. She can literally see what they're thinking. She can live their past memories and shit like that. She's a fucking
Very
psychic.
tempting to curl up with this all night instead of.
She's
looking at my
telepathic.
document.
That's a video game.
I remember trying to pregame as a teenager and just going to sleep instead.
Yeah, this is her
Sweet
brother.
Festival, Gabe.
Rest in peace, bro. Gabe was fucking dope. I loved Gabe. I hated that he died, honestly.
Looks like the festival is already in full swing.
So last time we LARPed. Looks like this time we there's a festival. Ooh, mother is calling. Mom is just downstairs, so I'm gonna head downstairs and see what she wants. Cause I don't want to pick up this call. So I'm gonna call Sophia, my boo, who's sleeping right now, and I love her. I don't want her to, you know. Oh, that shit's shocked. All right, but I'll be right back. I'll be right back, guys. Hold up. I'm back, Rooney. Back, Rooney.
I'll grab the USB stick before I head out.
Nani? Mom wanted to give me some noodles. Noodles.
I've been meaning to tell Jed about the sink.
But I already ate,
Afraid
so.
I'll try to teach. Don't worry. I'll come back to you.
Can't.
One day I'll organize this stuff in here.
Yeah, Mom had some noodles. Boom. It's kind of like pho, but just different. It's a little bit spicier as well.
Ah, string lights. The key to unlocking the Cozy Places subreddit.
Is that an actual subreddit? Cozy Places?
Yeah. This one ornament will really bring my tree together. What are the chances your instruction manual is in here? For now, I'll grab the USB stick.
I'll take them since you don't want them. If you were here, guarantee my mom would give you the biggest bowl you've ever had in your life.
I'm thinking this will make an excellent after-festival snack. I wish I could have helped Shar. But taking her pain away didn't feel... I think I'll stick with Minesweeper from now on.
Where's the USB that she was talking about? Son of Lead. Is that a Cyberman? That looks like a Cyberman.
Man, the latest issue gets dark.
Unmasked, unleashed,
Sure,
unstoppable.
Ethan will be fine.
Guitar.
I've done more these past few weeks than the last few years. feels nice.
Gabe's notebook. Okay, that's a
Ready to
stick.
Start my own list.
All right. Donate to the Lawrence Detention Center. New bong for Kevin. Apologize to Zoe. Apologize to Ira, and tell him you like his remixes. Apologize to Oscar. Apologize to the guy from the mall. Right. Thank you, Larry, to Lenny. Mall check to Mrs. Franks for the broken window. She moved to Maryland. Track her down. Forgive Dad. It's a shame Gabe died before he could do everything he wanted.
A lot riding on you. Small.
And right, that's all the evidence. We got the evidence on that USB stick.
Time to head downstairs.
It is a real subreddit. That's interesting. It probably popped off after this game. Get dressed. I can get dressed. Oh, I can get I can get like proper dressed. The siren shirt is kind of cool. I like this one the most, but I'm not a fan of the are they called leggings? I'm not a fan of the leggings, like the dot leggings. This one has my color scheme, so I'm going with the color scheme. This is also my color scheme. I like this one though.
Will you be my date to the festival, Shoo Shoo? The world really doesn't deserve Thanor.
Alex, don't worry about me. The drive down south with my dad always makes me feel better. And we have a lot of plans for the summer. He said we could go camping and make ultra s'mores. S'mores with ice cream on top? Secret family... What? Ice cream on top? What? S'mores with ice cream on top? I've never had that. I kind of want to try that. Minnie! Hi! Hi! How are you? Welcome! I don't stream. It's a lie. You're imagining things. When are you streaming, you dork? The LARP was amazing. You are really good. You are a really good bard, and I hope we can do it again soon. I already have more ideas to fill out your backstories. Banshees. Ooh. Thanks, Alex, from Ethan. Ethan is a good kid. I know the kid went through a whole bunch of shit, and he even witnessed Gabe dying and all that. And like any kid who has to witness death, it's traumatic as fuck. But the LARP experience in of itself, I'm glad it went so well. Like, I think it did a really good job of helping him, and that makes me genuinely happy. So I'm glad Alex actually went with the LARP and like went along with so many different things. That's such a cool little story. Me, a streamer? Oh my god. Era. I don't stream Suddy. Minnie is totally lying. Minnie is going to do a debut eventually. I know that. I remember that. I'm not crazy.
Alwyn the Bard will ride again.
Oh, if I was a D&D character, what class would I be? She's a bard. What would I be? Warriors are basic. They're lame. Don't know what I would be though. Like when I played Dark and Darker, I just kind of played what was fun. Hard to say though. Have you played the Life is Strange games at all, Minnie? Ooh, Stringlet.
Test. Check.
Test. Check. Ba, ba, da,
Holy
da,
shit,
da,
you
da.
own a skirt?
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, guys.
Katie Bentz. What a great voice actor.
Thanks.
I still can't believe that she rated us the other day when we played chapter 3. Like that still blew my mind. It was so cool. I love it when
It's over for Typhon.
Hence,
I love it when characters are voiced by certain people, but those people are like in the gaming scene community itself.
You'd better be.
Like Descartes from Detroit Become Human, who played fuck, I'm blanking, but you know that, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, it was a fucking honor. I had a blast. I had so much fun. It was during the LARP session of the game. How's the volume, by the way? Does it sound okay? Boop. Hey, Kershawn, what's up? You love these games. Have you played all of them already, Minnie? Including this one and Steph's story, maybe? I'm doing some studying, so I'm gonna look. What is it today? Is it still toxicology? You have? Okay. So you'll understand. I love this game. I fucking hate it at the same time. But I love this game. I just hate that they killed Gabe like that. It pissed me off. I was actually like sad for I think a full week or two. Need help setting up who's playing.
Oh, rad.
It is energy in the environment and pre-cal.
It's all good. We're almost there.
Pre-cal? You're in toxicology and energy in the environment, but you're in pre-cal? I feel like you would be like... You're just talented as fuck, aren't you? Minnie's gonna come up with the cure for cancer.
I have to run back to the trailer. Go be a normal person for a while.
I mean, I figured you'd be in calculus by now as well, yeah. But I realized it's because of your scheduling and you have to do all sorts of different stuff. But that's what occurred to me. It's like, holy shit, you're talented because you're out here doing all these other shit at the same time, working your ass off, and you're passing. So huge congrats on passing your tox test. Don't be worried about being behind. I think for me, it took me like an extra 2 years just to finish my 4-year degree. Just because life happens, you know. STEM, am I right? Don't worry though, you're awesome. I think you're a badass, Minnie. Keep up the hard work. Gotta get my degree. So I got my degree, and I feel like I still haven't done anything. Actually, that's not entirely true. I got my psych degree, and I've used my psych degree to spread awareness about mental health on the stream, which I think is a pretty cool way to use my psych degree. But in terms of like jobs in of itself, I haven't done shit with it. Zero fucking things. I've done absolutely fuck all with my degree in terms of a job. But I hope at least I've been able to spread some good awareness about different things, mental health in the past years. And I might do that again sometime this year, I think, because I definitely went through a whole entire mental health spiral the past 2 years. It might be good to like go through certain topics and ideas again and mention stuff like burnout and stuff like that too, because I know it's a thing that people deal with constantly. So that might be worthwhile. We could do something like that, and maybe even do like a charity stream or something. But that would probably have to be like post wedding when I have some time to like breathe. We'll see though. I'm in the 3rd year of my 2nd year degree. Everyone works at different paces. It's okay to be a bit behind. Yeah, don't stress. Don't stress. You're a badass. You're fucking kicking ass. I think you're great. Gotta be the sugar mama of the group for real. I felt that.
Can't make any
I felt that.
promises.
I would love to be the sugar dada of all my friends.
See when it's ready?
Call me puppy.
If I wanted to give away a rose, Steph and Rob.
They don't call me Hit Sugar for nothing.
Anyway, time to enjoy the festival.
All right, let's see. Let's see what text messages we got. Typhon Mining. Happy Spring Festival, Haven Springs community. Thanks for letting us celebrate with you. I didn't even see the whiff. The poster has disabled replies. What? What? Thank you for letting us celebrate with you. But you guys aren't allowed to reply to this shit. Fuck y'all. That's great. All right, no, study. Go study. It's fine. Go study. When you're back, I'll welcome you back with open arms. Wait, Kershawn, are you still there? My fellow one last shot gamer?
Everything is so not fine.
I heard some kind of commotion coming from the Silver Dragon when I was walking to the festival. Everything okay? Everything's fine? Okay. Oh, so this is post Oh, yeah. I just remembered how the last chapter ended. You were there, right, Sunny? Where she got pissed and was like, "Do you take your emotions away from her?" I'm like, "No, you don't."
Guess the festival started a while ago.
During festivals begun, first we have our annual chili cook-off, and later we'll have live music, a jelly bean guessing contest, and a raffle, as well as food, drink, and a bonfire. Let's kick spring off right. Woohoo! Finally, chili, beer, and jelly beans. That's my favorite thing to do. Those are the ingredients for another great festival. Chili. I don't think I've ever seen chili at any festival I've ever been to. Thanks everyone for another excellent Spring Fest chili cook-off. My mouth is still burning. Like, I know it's the theme of it all, but like I don't think I've ever seen chili in any festival I've been to. Killer Chili Mike, remind me to get the recipe for the lantern. You wish. Damn. I am so full.
Steph did a really great job putting all that together.
Huge shout out to everyone who helped out with the LARP. I think it really helped boost Ethan's spirits, and I had a great time too. This is what I was talking about. This is why I think Steph is absolutely fucking precious. For holding the LARP still and holding Ethan. What?
Dork.
Sonny, thank you for the $10. Did you just do that to call me a dork and then do a printer sound? So like, thank you, but at the same time, like, you know, you're a dork. You're a dork, Sonny. An actual dork. What the fuck? Nani? You're such a dork. Thank you. You're welcome, dork. No, I'll have to say no. You're welcome, but I didn't really do anything for you. Thank you. You're the dork, though. That's my printing sounds. Is that what that was? Still banned. Mike Lawler. Who's Mike? Kind Haven listeners, we are now live at the Spring Festival. Swing by our trailer in the park to grab some raffle tickets and maybe win some merch. Awesome, sweet, and make sure to stick around and keep your eyes on the main stage. We have something special brewing. Wink, wink. Oh shit, I feel a concert coming on. Ooh. Let me see, concert? All right, let's check the messages. Eleanor, she had like, I thought she had dementia, but turns out she has Alzheimer's. So let's see where we last left off. Are you gonna join us? Are you joining us this evening, dear? Yeah, this is one party I'm willing to brave. We'll make it as painless as possible. Okay, that's kind of weird of her to say. Hey Alex, it's Ethan. I'm really sorry about that. The LARP was amazing. Really, you are a badass. You don't have to apologize. I had so much fun with you. Had a great time with your dad and stay safe. Enjoy the Spring Festival. Wish I could be there, but at least I'm getting crazy good work done on the next Thanor comic. Sweet, what's happening in this issue? No spoilers. Who do you think I am? But Thanor finds a gate to the underworld and fights the King of Demons. Oh snap, that actually seems like a pretty big spoiler. That's the first page, lol. You fucking clipped it. You're such a dork. You're actually such a dork, Sonny. Thank you. TY. Oh, they're yellow roses.
233. 234. No. The red one was 234. Wait. Damn it.
You lost count.
1, 2.
I'm taking one. Take one for someone special. And obviously, we're handing this shit to Steph. Bum, bum, bee, da, 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 da.
Can't wait to see this mystery band tonight.
I can see the motions of a drum set.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man. This show rules. It's something. Anyway,
Okay.
That stuff. We're drugstore makeup from Seattle. We've got,
Merch.
dude, count me in. I'm dying.
Okay, so I knew we were a psychic, but we just had this is an actual term when you can like obtain memories or get a reading on something from objects, and I don't remember the term, but she has that too. Like she's actually kind of busted. Oh no, I just wanna. Let's find Steph first. Oh, I can. Oh, can I?
Takes a certain type of person, and I am not that person.
I am.
Steph is just awesome. Maybe I could give a rose to her. Hey, Steph.
For sure, we can give her a rose. Gnarly. I'm gonna give her the rose anyways.
This is for you.
Are you serious?
Of course I am.
Dude,
This is so fucking cute.
thank you so much. This totally makes my night.
I'm glad.
Oh, this is so cute.
Hey, could we meet up after the show tonight? I actually have some pretty big news to share. She said mysteriously.
Of course.
Steph a dork for real, for real. Bum 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 dun 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 dun. Ice luge.
The world's most unnecessary vodka delivery system.
Oh, that's what that's for. I've never actually seen one of those IRL. I've seen them in movies and shows and stuff. Never seen IRL.
Where's the after party this year?
There's no graceful
After
way to
party?
sample everything on this table.
Come on.
Is
Young man like yourself, you must know what the haps is.
Honestly, I'm getting pretty bushed. Thinking of calling it a night soon.
My goodness. What is this town coming to? Used to be that the spring festival wasn't complete till everyone was either asleep in the park or in someone else's bed.
Eleanor. Whoa.
Wild back in your day.
My day? I'm talking about last year.
Eleanor must be relieved.
Eleanor. Is she trying to slide into this young gentleman's pants? Lurk got to study for a bit? No worries. Enjoy your lurks, honey. You're a dork. I hope you're doing well. Bum, 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 bum. We drinking later?
So, we doing shots tonight or what?
Of course. Body shots. Who's going first? Just kidding.
What does body shots mean? Eleanor's precious.
The decorations really turned out beautifully. It must have been a huge amount of work.
This is actually really cool, though.
I better get going.
Enjoy your night.
You too.
Eleanor's precious.
God, I just hope Riley is doing all.
Oh, she's really worried about Riley.
What happened to Riley? Eleanor's really worried about Riley.
I knew there was something else there. I knew there was more dialogue there.
Good evening, dear.
I'm back. Where's Riley?
Where's Riley? I haven't seen her around.
She's not really in the festive spirit. She was supposed to leave town tonight. If it wasn't for, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were so helpful to me that day at the shop. If you see Riley, maybe you could help her too.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
We'll try to do something. Well, we'll try to help out
I better
Riley.
get going.
I'm okay with that. The lighting in this place is really cool, though. I actually thoroughly enjoy how this place is designed.
Oh, Mr. Lantern. I love what you've done with your bar.
She's a dork.
Right? It almost makes what? No marshmallows? Come on.
All right, what you thinking?
Funny you should ask. You remember that?
Oh, this is the Alabaster Daydreams girl.
Early 2000s? Maybe? Anyway, the weirdest thing happened today. I was in the lantern, studying, and I was...
Yeah, the weirdest thing happened. I read your mind and played the song for you.
Did. Huh. What are the chances?
Hey, Mel. How are you?
Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? About the vibrations we emit into the ether. You know, psychic waves and whatnot.
Could be. Karmic energy is no joke.
All right, I'm gonna change her whole life right now.
This is...
If she has another song on her mind, we're gonna play it.
By far.
That kind of enthusiasm is infectious, especially for me.
Oh, that's it. That's why I sit at the bonfire. Are you rizzing them up? No. What's up? How are you? I'm gonna say Kirby. I'll say Kirby instead of JoJo. How are you, Kirby? Adulting hard, work out, now taxes. When am I gonna be free? You just reminded me I need to do my fucking taxes. Holy shit, I remembered. I need to do that. The hell is JoJo doing here? Father Bobs is here too. Nani? Yeah, watching the stream. Idiot. Got him. Guess the number of jelly beans. Win a prize. Hold the fuck up. I want to win a prize. Everything's set. Meet me at the stage. Distract. Wait, hold up. The plan is to go. Distract. Ryan, everything's set. Meet me at the stage. On my way. Okay.
Plan is ready for me. I better head back.
I will totally head back. I want to talk to Jed, but I also want to figure out this damn jelly bean thing.
She looks awfully smug for a jelly bean lady.
Let's see what's on her mind.
Another year, another prize gift card for yours truly to keep. I'm such a little devil.
Really? Come on, jelly bean lady. That's not right.
Does that mean anything?
Hey there.
Guess the exact number of jelly beans and win a prize. Only one guess per person.
The exact number? Is that how this game is supposed to work?
You can go right after this determined young man.
That's the side eye she's giving me. The audacity of this girl.
I've never seen anyone so focused on a jelly bean jar. Hi.
Oh, hey. Nice to see you.
You're taking this jelly bean thing very seriously.
Yeah, because the prize is a $100 gift card.
How does he know that?
All anxious ever since she got lost.
What's the goal of this? All right, I'm gonna explain it. I'm on chapter 4. It's kind of like a Tall Tale, Walking Dead type game, and the premise of this particular game, this story right now, our brother in the first chapter passed away, and it was kind of an accident-ish, but there's also some fucked up shit going on with the how things went down, and there was a cover up from the company that accidentally did it. So we're just trying to uncover like who the fuck did what, and how to expose them to the world, more or less, to get some justice for our bro. And the one thing we got going for us is that we are psychic. I was gonna say empath, but it's not really. We're not really an empath. The game calls ourselves empaths, but this girl's literally out here reading minds. She can read people's minds, based on like what emotions they're feeling. But she can also, as we've just found out not too long ago, she can look at a pair of drum sets and uncover memories from a drum set. That's not an empath. It's a fucking psychic. So that's like the general gist of the story.
I could get her a bunch of treats, which is
Yeah.
really embarrassing.
Also, she cute.
Not at all. That's sweet. Maybe I can help.
Oh, for real? Are you
good at this?
How many jelly beans do you think there are?
4.
It's
That's me,
always
like
more than I
800.
think it is. I'd say like 800 or so.
She's one of those girls who claims to be a psychic. She would definitely. She does pull that vibe.
Something just changed in that lady by the jar. Maybe I should read her.
800's actually not bad. Hopefully they don't go lower.
Oh, I was close? Maybe I should say something.
Okay. Let's read this guy. See, we're literally reading. We're reading their minds.
Why do I do this to myself?
You're a fucking masochist, bro. All right.
Hey.
I got another guess.
Yeah.
700.
It's closer to 700.
Yeah. 700 feels right. But we have to get it exactly.
Just felt that lady's heart skip a beat. I should read her again.
Yo, let's read her mind.
They're really close to 731. Who is this girl?
Hell, your secret's mine.
Okay, that's oddly get fucked.
The answer is 730. Don't ask me how.
Piece of cake.
31 jelly beans.
That's correct.
Yes!
Water. I'm drinking water.
So much for your help. You rule.
No sweat.
All right, let's see how she's feeling now.
I can't believe it. How did she know?
Just a lifetime of emotional trauma.
Yeah, I'm just an empath. That's how I knew you were thinking of 731. That's what I mean. The game wants us to feel like we're an empath. No, we're just fucking psychic. I stand by that.
Spring fest ever.
And so, peace returned to the Jelly Bean Kingdom.
But yeah, main character's also a giga dork. Like actually just phenomenally dorky. What are you up to though, Mel? And what about you, Kirby? And what about you, Father Fobs? Are you Diamond 1 yet?
Because I know what he's aiming for. And sure as hell, this
I'm listening to the story right now.
jumps right off the end of the dock and into the water. Smack! Belly flop. And the poor bastard is so drunk he forgot he doesn't know how to swim. So I jump in there after him.
So Jed had to save another guy?
I dragged his ass back to dry land and we called him in.
Excuse me.
Took a minute, but I dragged his ass back to dry land.
That's kind of interesting. I've noticed this entire time, whenever I bump into someone, I interrupt them.
I gotta spend the rest of the
Okay, Ryan is waiting on me.
That's really cool.
offer me a bunch of goddamn towels.
Excuse me.
It's been a hell of a month, but this makes it.
Jed is a good guy. I like Jed.
This town. Excuse me.
Excuse me. Is this the town? Yeah, this is the town. Tiny ass town.
Wow. This is a beautiful model.
I've been wanting to play more Hogwarts, but I've been jumping around games. I've seen that game has actually been a lot of fun for a lot of different people. I haven't played it. I probably won't. But it seems like the bits it's a lot more detail in that game than one would expect. I feel like, because there's like the I saw a video on YouTube. Someone does Avada Kedavra right next to the professor, and the professor's like, "Bitch, there's no way you just use that spell in my classroom. The fuck are you doing?" Type vibe. And it's kind of funny. So there's a lot more detail in it than I realized. But what other games have you been playing though? Forest maybe? Oh, anxious people.
Crap. Was I supposed to give him a hug? Does he think that I think it's not a date?
If this is a date, it's a real one.
Oh, it's awkward as fuck. These guys are awkward as hell.
Should I not have worn cologne? Is that too try hard? Maybe I didn't wear enough.
Aw, they'll get the hang of this one day, or not.
So fucking precious. Imagine being unable to. Oh, what the hell is that? Being unable to kiss the girl on the first date. I kissed my fiance on the first date. What the hell is this? This is so random. It's just there.
There are builders.
That's so random. I mean, it's there. I guess it's a bit of dialogue we found. I have full faith, Kylie. I mean, there's... Okay. Did you and Lex kiss on the first date? I'm calling you out.
Okay, so there's this young farm maid in the elvish countryside.
Oh, he's the fucking...
Who was abducted
The jester. He was the damn jester.
Go on. Along the way, she picks up mercenaries. The kind she never expected to be friends with.
I mean, does it really count if we met our people before we met them?
They find the sister. The sister is now the high warlock of the...
Pausing real quick. I would say it still counts. Because you ever see those stories of like long distance relationships where people meet for the first time and they're just like, holy shit, you're like 3 feet shorter than I thought you were. Sometimes it just don't work out. But I guess it is more of an advantage than completely meeting as strangers. Which I guess is also valid.
Guild. She's threatening the entire kingdom with her magical shit.
And they gotta take her out.
But what a dilemma! Fucking
Shakespeare meets Tolkien.
This is what I always should have been right.
Jesse, this is amazing. It sounds like your muse is finally back.
See, when I bump into them, they're like, whoa, bro.
Had long enough to remember who I am.
Did we help this guy? I think we might have helped this guy.
Thank you, Steph. Thanks for helping me find the fun again.
Sounds like Ethan wasn't the only one inspired by...
Okay, so this is from the LARPing session. That's so cool. Notice no alcohol beyond this point. I don't want to go there yet. I want to properly explore before I do anything.
No, Mom, it's not an emergency. Trust me, I'm fine. Typhon is not normal. I made a mistake coming here.
Get out while you can, dude.
Typhon kind of sus. We're getting dinner real quick. If you're on when I'm back, I'll join. No, bet. What you getting? I mean, go get your food. Come back later and tell me what you got. I had rice. Just fried rice earlier again. But I almost had noodles. But I'll probably eat that after stream. Happy Spring Festival. Fuck Typhon. Your neighbor's a Typhon. Yeah, fuck Typhon. Honestly, the company's shady as hell. Ice cream woman.
Well, we gave it a shot.
Oh, stop, Mr. Doom. My bad.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't mean to bump into them. I want to hear what they say.
Mr. Doom and Gloom over here. We're not out of the ice cream game yet.
No. Hey, I take responsibility. If we gotta shut down the show.
Why is this dialogue so fucking awkward?
Seriously. No more of this, okay?
Is she drunk?
Happens won't happen until after tonight. For now, let's just have another drink.
Yeah, she's drunk.
Take a break from freaking out about the shop.
You're really smart.
Oh, I'm getting drunk. You see that? There's like, I'm getting fucking drunk. Do you guys see that? I'm getting like tipsy.
Couldn't hack it in the ice cream biz after all. But at least we gave it a shot.
Sounds like they've reached the end of their rocky road. I'm the worst.
You are. That was a terrible fucking pun. She should be disappointed.
Neighbors? Come on.
There's no shot I can actually explore this fucking town. Am I supposed to? Fresh graffiti.
Sweet, but I think I'll avoid touching this bench, just to be safe.
Valid. I'm going to do a quick little scan. I'm trying to see if the character will like stop me if I go too far. And if it doesn't, that means I can do shit still. What the hell is this?
Grand opening tomorrow. Free soup and salad for Spring Festival attendees.
Gotta pull my shit together for this grand opening.
Yourself.
These people won't be so gracious forever.
Tell me what you're doing here.
Let's flip a coin. Heads I tell you, tails we go out on a date. Ding. June cock. I thought it again. I thought it again every single time, bro. Every single fucking time. Saji, hello. What were you up to? And hello, Rue. Hello, Koi. Hello, Saji. Could you shout them out real quick, Kylie? Or that works too. Oh, you're playing the fucking Tomodachi. Wee. Woo. Yahoo. Such a fucking dumb game. But I was laughing so much when I saw that shit. It's not letting me do it. Twitch has been fucking weird all day. All day. Don't know why. Who's streaming? Hitsu doesn't stream? What's going on? I'm not Hitsu.
Gotta pull my shit together for this grand opening.
I'll take a coupon.
No coupon.
More drama ensued?
Tell me your name and I'll remember it.
Do tell. I'm curious.
Alex Chen.
Whomst?
Alex Chen. Didn't we speak already?
I'm not streaming. You guys are all imagining this.
So stupid. Print some coupons, they said. It's a small town, I'll remember, I said. Oh, hubris.
You know, you could try posting on my block. Whoever comments gets the deal.
Oh. Well, that's a good idea.
Best of luck.
Valid. Valid. A fever dream? Yeah, y'all are just dreaming right now. How are you doing though? So some people got you can get married in the fucking game. Others got cut? Someone got fucking cut?
Brian before the show.
What the hell?
Nice. May the best small town diner win.
Wait, what? What kind of game is this? Tomodachi for Laifu.
Lots of people still hanging out on Main Street tonight.
This place is honestly fucking gorgeous. I know it's a small place, but it's gorgeous.
The LARP was a lot of fun.
Oh, this is the dude that played Dead.
Do you think there's food left at the festival?
Are you hungry?
I thought you might be.
So is she angry?
But are you?
And he's
Not really.
sad?
But that's nice of you.
Or worried?
Right. Cool.
Alright, we're gonna read his mind first, and then we're gonna read her mind. See what's going on here.
I still like her so much.
What do I do?
Sorry, man. Forbidden love is a bitch.
All right, what are you thinking?
I'm head over heels for this dork. What do I do? Wait, they're both into each other?
These guys like each other? Just fucking say it. So stupid. Baka. Admittedly, it's all my fault because I had no idea about the Mii's feelings. So who's with who and who got cucked? I want the details. I need to know, Saji. I need to know. I need to stay caught up in the drama. It's so fucking dumb. And then fucking Opal. Wee, woo.
It's the Spring Fest. You're both obviously into each other. Just
Yeah, he doesn't feed the Mii's. That's right. He doesn't.
You heard me.
Is it that obvious?
Is what obvious? Fuck. Julia, I don't want to screw this up. What's obvious? Are we talking about the same thing?
Say, do it. Do it. Do it.
Middle of the street, I would totally jump you right now. Do you want to come out?
Did I just help these two get laid?
Oh my god. Absolutely yes.
Holy shit, I just helped him get laid. I'm a fucking beast.
Good luck making it till then.
What's she thinking?
I am going to rock his world.
You do that.
God damn. Okay. Wow, that makes me want to blush a little bit. Holy shit, I'm reacting a bit too much. Oh my god, I just helped two people get laid in a game.
Okay.
Cool.
Ryan is waiting on me.
Best wingman? Hello. Hitsu streamer confirmed? I'm not streaming, Yosha. There's no one here. Hitsu, you have a question? What's up? Oh no, we're reopening this wound? Okay, let me catch up. I literally so we finally got some food. You finally fed me, Saji. I ate, huh? I ate. Bad God, for real, only cause chat tells you to. get exposed. It's gonna be totally answered off stream, but real quick while I'm stressing. But for the Twitch 1090 forum, I'm confused what the forum 1090 miscellaneous and forum 1090 NEC is. Do you know what that is? So you're doing your taxes for Twitch right now. 1099s are just your W2s, like your fucking regular W tax forms that you send in. But I think 1090 miscellaneous, it's just specifically it's for jobs that are kind of like unrelated to like a business employment place. Like it's just random income. I feel like literally miscellaneous income. So it's stuff like you cut some dude's lawn and they paid you money for it. I think that's literally part of what the miscellaneous form is. I'm not sure about the NEC form. And I think Twitch might fall underneath the miscellaneous form because we're all just streamers. So it's not really a job. In the sense that like you don't get paid by a company, or we get paid by Twitch, but it's through viewers in the first place. So it's really, really weird. So here's the thesis. Okay. Minnie and Dinky got married. Oh, Evil had a thing for Rue, but I said no, she's with the captain. But Rue actually went to dump the captain, and Evil actually had a chance. I gave June a paid trip to 3 states. What? Nani? Look at this nerd. Which nerd? There's plenty of nerds in chat. You have to be more specific, Bard. So okay, so Rue was just like, I want to dump the captain, and Evil had a chance. What? If the boot fits? Well, I'm sure plenty of nerds are chilling. My sister, so. But I'll look into more myself, and I'll send you some information later, Mo. Justice for Riz Hawk. God fucking damn it. Who, me? Couldn't be. Oh, I have hiccups. La 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 la. Hiccups? Are you there? Was that just a singular hiccup? That was just a singular hiccup. That'd be really fucking weird. Is that a thing? A singular hiccup? I guess so. It's not coming. I was completely heartbroken, so I took an all-expense paid vacation to America. Thanks to Sajid. You got my ass. The silence is so loud. Fuck you. I can't believe that got me. To be completely honest with you, I can't believe that got me. I'm not playing a horror game. I'm not doing anything particularly spooky. It's just it was sudden. It made me jump. And first of all, it's a cute sound effect. Is it not? Did you guys love that? That's Sophia's voice, my fiance. She scared me like that once in call. So I took that and put it into a little sound effect thing. And it still gets me. To this day. I still get scared by it. Fantastic. Got my ass. People yeah, I guess no more hiccups. Thank you, Yosha, for the 100 bits. But also, fuck you. Wait, no, it would be you. It's always the fucking mercies. I'm telling you, the mercies are always the sadistic ones. Makes sense now. Yoja plays a phenomenal mercy. I found out, I think, an evil stream.
God help me.
Or no, it was Bunsen stream. No, it was June stream, actually. Yeah. It was June that was streaming. I'm fucking trolling. But like, it just occurred to me. Mercy mains are pure. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm sadistic. Yeah. Like, Mercy players are... Sophia's a Mercy player. I'm just saying. They're a little... Just saying. See, Saji, it makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. Don't... Watch out for the Mercy players. We are closed early this evening in celebration of the annual Spring Festival. Please visit our cart on the festival grounds and take a rose for someone special. I already gave the rose to Steph. We're sliding into her DMs. We helped someone get laid today.
I have a surprise for you.
Good surprise.
Let's see what these folks are doing.
I started a farm in Moondrop Ranch.
Hey, Sash. That was Moondrop.
The nurse, she's adorable.
Are these guys talking about a dating sim?
Game is sick.
I love you.
What?
Didn't expect that him playing my favorite game would be a turn on, but here we are.
Write that down, everyone. Write that down.
Wait, is someone standing out past the Bridge of Flowers? Pretty late for a bus ride.
Is that Riley? But no, write that down. Playing the game of someone's favorite game. Playing someone's favorite game is a turn on for them. So if you ever want to slide into someone's DMs, just be like, hey, what's your favorite game? I played that game. Let's talk about it. It's over.
Excuse me.
Whoa, my bad. I think that's Riley. Hi, Ernie. Time to get good at Apex. My favorite thing to do in Apex Legends is kill. But I need someone to help me. Would you mind playing with me? I slid in Lex DMs to ask him to play League. Easy. It works. What's Sophia's favorite game? I need to figure it out. Oh, hey, didn't realize I was part of a raid. Minnie. Welcome. What are you doing here? Like, wow. How's the pre-cal and environmental energy? I don't know what that specific class was, but
Oh man, Riley looks heartbroken.
just assuming you're doing it. I'm not really sure if you're doing it, but I'm assuming.
Hey, Riley.
I've done that before, Ernie. Hey. Don't worry. Are you gonna pull an all-nighter? I'm still doing it. No, keep on at it. Don't stress too much. Thank you for coming in with Saji's rate. I appreciate you. Everyone knows I appreciate Saji, and he's a gigadork, and I've gotten to know a lot of you folks recently in the past couple of months, and you're all dorks. Sorry.
Just wanted to say hi.
No, you. Did you have a bad dream or something, Ernie?
Partying's not really in the cards.
All right. What's wrong, Riley? Talk to me. Talk to me.
Bus tonight.
I know.
I'm gonna drag her ass back to the party.
All poured into one fucking bus ride.
I don't.
But it's
okay.
Nana needs me now. She was there for me before, and now it's my turn. And I don't have to do it solo. Mac is still...
Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick before she gets to the next point. I feel like... So her grandma has... Or not dementia. She has Alzheimer. And we recently found that out. And she's going to go to college, do her thing, like become a writer and all that fun jazz. Do all kinds of sorts of shit. I don't remember what specifically. And she's going to take a bus ride to go. She found out her grandmother had Alzheimer. Now she's staying basically to help out. And what she said earlier about how she had all of her hopes and dreams pinned on that one fucking bus ride, to quote her, although I get it, I also feel like that's wrong on her part. Whether or not that bus ride comes today or comes tomorrow, you can still make it happen. I feel like, specifically, like if you want to go to university, you can go whenever the fuck you want. I don't completely agree with what she said there. I'm just saying that. Migraines. Oh shit. I'm sorry, Ernie. Follow age. Hello. It might be no space. Also, how are you doing? All fair? Admittedly, I'm not sure if I remember that name. Have you changed the name? All fair 1 2 3 4. I'm trying to like process, because I'm typically good with like Twitch names at least, but I feel like I'm blanking. 2017, so it must have been like what, Dark Souls days, the early Dark Souls days.
With us broken up.
I'm blanking. But welcome. How are you? What's going on? How are you doing?
Thanks, Alex.
Hang in there, okay?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I say that, but
I will. You're awesome for coming out here.
I hope she can bounce back soon.
Was I supposed to fucking read her mind before I talked to her? Ah, shit. You did do those streams. Pretty good. All fair 1 2 3. Like, I'm trying to remember the name. It's vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure. I could just be saying that and like making my own. You know how people alter their memories or whatever. But welcome though. I hope you've been well. The years have been rough. COVID has kicked a lot of people's asses. Not in the sense that like COVID itself maybe kicked people's asses, but just the conditions and everything that went along with COVID and all that. A lot of shit happened. So I hope life has been treating you well, I think. I think we're friends on Steam too. I can't remember where from. We must have been. But grad school is fun. Oh, you're in grad school. How's that going? That's dope. It seems like everyone right now is like studying and stuff. I'm super happy for everyone that's getting shit done though. Sunny is studying right now. Minnie earlier is studying as a STEM major. Good luck with that. And looks like you're in grad school. Physics. Oh my god, you're a physician. All right. A physician. A physicist? Physician? I'm a fucking idiot. I think that's everything I've seen.
Holy fuck. She gave me a rose. Time to step it up, Gingrich.
Hope I'm ready for whatever I've started.
We gave her a rose. It's happening. We helped like 2 other folks get laid tonight. Is anything back here? An ATV? A microphone?
Yeesh. This thing has seen a few spring.
Oh my god, that microphone is scuffed, dude.
Random ATV parked at a festival with a bunch of drunk people.
That's
What could go wrong?
That's exactly what I was fucking thinking. I was like, that's a random place to place an ATV. Yeah, don't tell people I'm a physician. I cannot give medical advice. Yeah, I know. I was like, a physician. As soon as they said, I was like, I feel like an idiot for saying that. And what do you mean, Ernie? You're not old. Penguins don't get old. Hi, Lulu. Exclamation Lulu. Lulu. Apparently you have a command. I'm not sure if you knew that. Oh, let's talk to Brian. All right, we're continuing the game finally. All right, look at him.
I don't think Ryan can go a day in his life without being helpful to someone.
Yeah, Ryan's a good egg.
Oh, hey. Just in time.
So, who's playing?
Yours truly.
Seriously? That's awesome! Well, wait, who else?
You. Or am I just losing it? I've played other Life is Strange games, and we played this earlier chapters of this game.
I hate you both.
We didn't want you to wuss out.
Me personally, I absolutely would wuss out. Her though? She'd get into it.
Who said anything about wussing out?
Nobody, but only because we didn't give you the opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't binge all the chapters in one go.
It's gonna be awesome. Trust me.
But how are you, Lulu? Did you know you had a command? I was looking at it today when I was trying to check when I made the TikTok command, or I didn't make it. Someone already made it. I forgot who made it. I think it was Neo. Or was it Kylie? I don't remember. But when I checked it, you have a command. I don't know why it's Luli. Well, it'd be your own. I mean, I said it might have been you. I did. I did. All right, don't be nervous. And I have no idea what the context of that is.
Together before, and anyway, sorry if this sucks.
Oh, she's cute. She's precious.
Fuck it.
Hold up, I got a fucking pop up from a Gundam website. I have no idea. It's been there forever. Bum, 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 bum. Hold up.
When I'm walking, I strut my stuff, and I'm so strung out.
Am I gonna DMCA'd? Big hands? You know what they say about people with big hands? They clap really loudly. This is absolutely fucking dorky, dude.
I strap my stuff and I'm so strung out.
Okay, this is a secret for everyone in chat. This type of singing, I fucking love when people whisper in songs. Like, it's intentional whispering. That shit's fire to me. Bum 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 ba bum bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum. Bum 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 ba bum bum ba dum. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get DMCA'd. That's fine. It happens, right? When I get banned, just don't forget me. That was really well done for someone who's never played with someone before. That was really well done. All right, I forgot. Last chapter, we pissed her off, and she was pissed off, and we were pissed off, and we were all pissed off. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I was horrible to you earlier.
Are you apologizing already?
Really? Then I fucked up because I was trying pretty hard to be horrible to you. I was so excited about you coming to Haven. In my mind, the way I built it up, we were gonna be best friends.
Okay. Where's this going?
I wish.
Gonna cut her off? Me too.
I know. Me too.
Gabe was still here, life would be a lot easier. I get it. I understand. Dealing with loss is always fucking tough. It's always rough.
If you must wait for them here.
But being there with people around that you care about is a good way to keep pushing forward. So this is what they both needed from the get-go. Charlotte specifically, because she kind of dealt with everything alone, which I guess we didn't really see her POV much. Our character got a lot of help from the community, but Charlotte was just kind of on her own dealing with things. So it makes sense that she spiraled into depression and like anger and all that fun jazz. Ernie being a rebel, not really. Ernie just wants to sleep, but he can't. I'm sorry, Ernie. Dirks, y'all are giga dorks.
Don't do it alone.
But I really do hope that Charlotte's able to move on.
Hey. You okay? No. But you know.
She has to deal with all these emotions. She has to deal with all of them. Because like last chapter, I feel like if we took away her emotions like that, we took away her anger, her rage, she would never get any solace in any shape or form. I don't think it would happen. I don't think it would come. I still want to check up on Charlotte,
Two-faced,
but I'm not too sure. Hi, Alex. Wanted to wish you a wonderful first spring festival. Unfortunately, I have to work through it this year, but I really appreciate our conversation earlier today. It was great getting to know you better. Thanks, Dan. The feeling is mutual. Smiley face. We don't like Diane because Diane works for a certain company called Typhon Mining. All right. Geek Dork Club. What's up, Kyle? Oh, whoa. My emotes are lagging though. Nani? Oh, let me close that. Maybe that'll make it a bit better. Oh, I had some memory leakage on Google Chrome. That was weird. What's up, Kyle? Oh, also congrats on getting your visa, Sonny. I already told you yesterday, but I saw you posted it in little things, but while I was getting ready. But congrats once again on getting the visa. I hope things go swimmingly well from now on. For you and Jack. I just want to take a second to say how wonderful Haven really is. Nights like this has always reminded me how lucky I am to call this place home. No other place will ever come close. Smiley face. You're not so bad yourself. Kissy face. Oh, Eleanor's precious grandmother. Jack Stevens, attention Haven Springs. Happy Spring Festival and thank you for welcoming me into your community to celebrate our forthcoming grand... Oh, he took our advice. Our grand we opened the Brown Bear Diners offering free soup and salad to Haven Spring residents who comment below. Nice, I'm in. Let me get in on that. Me, I would like to have a free soup and a free salad. What a good idea. And I'll take you up on that. Yo, hey, me. Looks like a successful promotion, Jack. Whenever you decide to swing by the lantern, drinks are on me. Well, thank you, Jed. That's very kind. And Jack was never heard from again. Knock off with that malarkey and being perfectly pleasant. And I was never heard from again. Fucking... This whole entire town's a whole bunch of dorky idiots. The jelly bean guessing contest has ended. Congratulations to our winner, Hector. Thank you. Hold the applause. Crap, I thought it was going until midnight. Normally is, but we had a perfect guess. No way, someone actually won it this time? Bang! Nani? Hazin. Wait, who just bonked? Oh, Kyle did. Bang! Congrats, we actually heard from Jack. Wait, where was Jack? Nani? I haven't talked to Jack. I want to talk to Jack and see how he's feeling about the visa. I haven't talked to him yet. I'll reach out to him after stream. I'm sorry, it's been what, like 4 years? I think 5? 5 years. How did she get the specific number? It is live music time. Kind Haven listeners, start making your way over to the stage. Make sure you get a good spot. Sick. Yes.
Okay. I gotta admit, this is a pretty great feeling.
Yeah, that fucking rocks. That for these two who has never played a single song together to just jam out like that live, pretty impressive. Totally starstruck. Thanks, guys. We had a blast. Wow. Okay, that's all the text, all the social media post. I'm not gonna go through journals. Don't.
Sounds like Steph wants to meet me on the rooftop.
You're experimenting? I want Will to like start adding shit to his stream. Cause he used to be where he used to have a whole bunch of shit on his stream, like all the fucking sound effects way back when. Oh my god. We were pioneers. I was an Anthem server. Well, I don't know if I should mention this small server, but yeah, I was in that server. I am in a lot of servers. I'm not even sure if I'm in that server. But I could.
There's still a decent.
I'm happy for Jack. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Will. Am I? I could be. I might not be. These two are getting laid. Where's Charlotte? Here, actually. Close to the Spring Festival. Because I actually don't know where she went. That's fine. Let's go upstairs to the tavern. I don't know where Charlotte is right now, but we talked to her. We hugged her. We held her. I'm a little bit concerned about her well-being still, because she was dealing with things heavily. It's during festivals and nights like this that you really want to pay extra attention to people who are dealing with shit. But I'm guessing that we'll have another chance sometime in the game later to reach out. Uh-oh. 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 I didn't say anything. I don't know what happened.
It
Jed's
was so
crown.
fun watching Jed play the villain.
All right, he was the villain. That was really cool. I want to play a song. Hi, script. Let's play. Go, Dottie, go. I actually don't remember the last time I've seen a jukebox. When's the last time I saw a fucking diner?
Not tonight.
Do you guys have any idea when the last time you saw like something like that? A diner? Like a proper like diner. Like with jukebox style, the fucking black and white checkered patterns on the ground.
Jed bought this as a treat for the regulars. And himself, I'm guessing.
Whiskey. Probably bussin'. Today's special. Plain hamburgers. Cut me some slack. Spring festival tonight.
Odds are pretty good.
I like that.
Having a cup later tonight.
Old ad.
Acute emotional kleptomania.
Dr. Larthop's tonic, excellent treatment for snake bites, ticks and fleas, wounds, mental disorders, blebs, senility, people who are senile. Ablutophobia? What the fuck does that word mean? Can someone look up that word? Ablutophobia. What? 2019? Really? Me and Cece just went to one? Wait, dead ass? Literally? I can't remember the last time I've seen one. I know I've been to them before. Oh my fuck. Ducky scared the shit out of me. He was just sitting there. What's wrong, dude? There's a fucking festival outside, man.
It's not the same without you, Tabitha. Never was, never will be.
Tabitha. Sounds like Ducky's got a story to tell. I wonder who Tabitha is.
All right, let's talk.
Ducky. Who's Tabitha?
The fear of cleaning yourself?
Do you want to talk about her?
You know, Alex, on this particular matter, I don't have much to say.
Okay.
I mean, we kind of just asked about Tabitha, despite not knowing anything about Tabitha. I'm gonna be honest. For a psychic, that was kind of sus. But alright, let's see. Our boy is sad. We can't let Ducky be sad. Deadass, it's a popular beef fast place in Ohio. If I'm ever there, I kind of want to see it. I haven't been. Okay, I'm ZZZZ. Good night, son. Good night. You sleep well. Take care, Kyle. There's a little thing there.
Tell me what I need to know to help him.
Bet. Say less. Ohio.
You know, I carved that myself. Oh, hi, I'm Reginald McAllister III. My friends call me Ducky.
Tabitha Baker. Call me Tabs.
My friends call me Ducky. Alright, let's go through his dating memories. You literally crossing a border by using your powers, though? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we have a very strong advantage.
Wait, don't drink it. Look at the bottom.
What? What are you? Oh, Ducky, it's beautiful.
Tabitha Baker.
It's a ring. I fucking knew it.
Marry me?
I was like, why would you not drink then? What? I see. And then she said, it's so beautiful. It took me like a split second, and then I realized at the very end. Oh, we have to play the right song. Okay. I know.
Happy anniversary, love. Here's to another 30 years.
And another 30 festivals, if we can make it.
Ducky, you're gonna outlast this whole damn town.
They sound like a precious couple, honestly.
I know that song. Poor Ducky.
No.
Happy anniversary, love. Here's to another 30 years.
And another 30 festivals.
Is it playing?
Ducky,
Go Ducky Go?
You're gonna outlast this whole
Or Go Dottie Go? Fuck. Like, I know the song, but like, what am I supposed to do? I'm assuming I want to play this song, but I can't do anything with the thing right now.
It's a tough night for you, isn't it?
Ducky wholesome. Ducky's wholesome as fuck.
That's right.
Ah. Let's talk about the wooden bear.
Did you actually carve that wooden bear?
Branna? Sure did. That was a long time ago.
The spring festival must have been important to you two.
Indeed. We were.
Oh, this is so precious.
We both loved it so much.
Let's dance though.
1 sec.
What song was it? Yo, this is a James Bondy kind of song. No, it's not. They changed vibes completely.
How did you?
They're playing your song. Let's dance.
Oh, this is absolutely fucking precious. Oh, well, I feel like crying for some fucking reason. I mean, it's obvious why I want to cry. This dude lost his girl, married for more than 30 plus years, and he lost her. Now they're playing the song and
You know what reminds me most of her right now? It's not the song or the festival.
Nani?
You took the time to care about a sad old man for no other reason than to make the world a little less troublesome. That
how fucking precious.
Thank you, Alex. I think I'm a little more inclined to join the others outside.
You're very welcome. Enjoy the festival.
We help 2 people get laid and we help 2 people feel better. That's a fucking dub. That's a dub. That's what should happen in parties. Help folks get laid and help people feel better. Fuck yeah. Should be every party in the world.
Hey, you can't tell me what to do.
Go marmots.
Go marmots. What's a marmot again? Eleanor is like a mafia boss. Except instead of crime, she spreads flowers. Looks like a fun night.
Is that Jed and Ryan? Alright.
Come on, son, get it over with.
I don't want to get sick.
You're gonna feel a whole
Tell
lot
me what
better
you're
after
doing
you do.
here.
Let's flip a coin. Heads I tell you, tails we go out on a date. Ding! So he got hungover.
It's fucking monstrosity.
Although I suspect you're gonna wish you
I'll go
had
back
tomorrow
to
morning.
The hell is that?
101. Hey, whoa. Thank you. Rude.
The hell is that?
Very rude.
Hello, you beautiful dork. Metroid Prime? Oh, I guess it does has. Yeah.
Chill, bro.
That's an interesting plant, though. The fuck? Metroid Prime remastered. All right. Funny that you're here, Monrun. I got you with something. Thank you for shouting out Monrun, by the way. I had to open Chrome for this because tabs. I need to find the specific tab that I had, but I was looking at this literally today. Where was it? I have way too many fucking tabs. That's a dilemma. What is this one? Nope, it's not that one. What is this one? I'm gonna find this. Nope, it's not that one. What here? While I'm doing this.
What if the Uber driver decides to kidnap us, take us away, and torture us for money?
You know?
What if the Uber...
I don't have 100+ tab. It's just one tab with all my tabs in it. That's all. Where the fuck was it? Neo clipped it. Nope. This is just me finding a whole bunch of clips because I've been editing recently. I've been doing a lot of editing. This is me just trying to find clips and stuff. This is the Father Tune clip. Why are you like... Oh, is this it? This might be it. Nope. That's not it. God damn it. It's the one where you're saying I was on r/furry. That one. I was looking at that clip. And it made me fucking laugh. Raids now show new clip. No. That's just me finding something to me adding something so that it fucking does the thing. The troll? What's the troll? Nope, not that one. Echo SMR, some stupid shots, voice acting on point, Hitsu nut dance, psychic Hitsu. We got some things to discuss, but Sophia's lit at the moment. Deflection level expert, 300 decibel soft busting stream, ending Hitsu makes a face, ends poorly. He do bite. Where the fuck is that clip, dude? Where the fuck? What surprise? No. It's a clip by Neo. It's a clip by Neo. God damn it. Let's check this out. Let's see this Gucci. Oh, it was D-Tune that clipped it.
Furry last night.
All it took was 2 seconds. Let's check this out. Let's see this Gucci.
I was on r/furry last night.
Why, Monrad? Why? Why? Wait, no. Oh, fuck. I closed them, so I lost them. That's not good. I want to find those again. I'm glad that brought you such joy. It did. I did not expect it at all. It fucking... Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Scattered Dreamer, hello. I had to go find those 3 clips again that I just closed. Oh, I have a modern clip somewhere. Share away. I love teasing our boys. Like when I say boys, I want to specify that I'm talking about homies. Just in case that was confusing. For legal purposes, I'm a jokester. Is my phone charging? I think it is. We're gonna kiss her today.
You said you have some news?
I'm leaving. I'm actually leaving Haven Springs. Can you believe it? Back on the road again. Fucking finally.
Wait, seriously?
Bro, what?
Play music again, Alex. Anywhere I want. God, I
Phone's not charging.
fucking good it feels.
Wait, change overlay? Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I gave you a rose. What do you mean you're leaving? But I don't want to say don't play fucking music either. I wanna kiss.
That's so cool. I'm really happy for you. You better keep in touch.
You think it's that easy to get rid of me? Come on, Chen. I need a new destination. You're my good luck charm.
You have shit taste in good luck charms.
Shut up.
Nani.
Pick one.
Berlin, Salem, or the ocean? Obviously the ocean, because that's where Bay is. Bay over Bay.
Tell me about my life in the middle of the sea.
You could take a job at an underwater research lab. Maybe as like...
Chief Underwater Acoustics Engineer?
You might need to walk me through that one.
Dude, think about it. The kinds of sounds you could capture down there would be like...
Oh my god, she's actually down for it. She's digging it. BRB switching to PC? No worries. I'll be here. I'll be here.
That sounds like a pretty spectacular plan.
Great. Then come with me.
To the ocean?
Sure, why not? Doesn't have to be our first stop, but one day. I still have friends. We start there, or I don't know, Kansas City, Vegas, wherever we want. Look, I don't want to pressure you, but I've seen you give so much of yourself to make sure other people get what they need.
Come on.
I guess I wonder if you've thought about what you need.
I like this. I like this. This is good development.
I mean, obviously, I like you a lot.
I can't find the link. You're lucky, Monrin. We'll get you next time. You fucking clip generator. You content creator, you. It's cute that you gave me an option.
Kiss me. Kiss me. Kiss me. Kiss me.
It's adorable you gave me an option. Thank you, game. Silly. Absolutely idiotic. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, she's on her. When they're on the tippy toes kissing. God damn. Okay. That was cool as fuck, actually. Like, I got chills. Alright, now fuck. It's over. We don't need to watch. I'm not that kind of guy.
Okay.
But they have the night together. Go crazy.
Think about it.
Go crazy.
I will. Thank you.
We already helped 2 other people get laid today. Main character deserves some action too.
I'm gonna head back down. Find me later.
You must know all about it being smaller than soft. Okay, Ernie. I'll have you know, I'm taller. Not by much, but I'm taller. If I was her, I would go. I would try to finish up what we got going on here
Hey.
with Gabe.
Can I tell you something? I think I solved it. Why you died. Who's responsible. Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
I'm out of threads to pull. Which is terrifying. Because on the other side of all this, after Typhon, after you, there's just normal life.
Life moves on, I guess, right?
Kind of counting on you to show me how to do that. But I think I can figure it out. I just wish you were here to see it. Oh, also, I kissed Steph, so that happened.
If I was in her shoes, I would definitely go along with Steph on her journey. I would still want the place where my brother lived. So maybe this could be like our house, our home that we always come back to. But I would definitely journey with Steph across all kinds of crazy different places she would want to go. I feel like. And I think Gabe himself would want that for us. So I would go. I would go. Man, I fucking love Gabe, dude. Why did he have to die? Easy W Riz? Yeah, we're just chat. Everyone in chat's W Riz. You guys help me make the choices. And then, you know, he's busy. All we needed was everyone. Oh, God, it's the police officer.
The USB drive?
I do.
Oh, God, wait.
It's all here. Gabe's call, their secret plan, the cover-up.
Do we trust him, though?
Station. Alex? Don't make this hard.
Good night, Monrin. Thank you for the raid again. I appreciate you, dude. You get that proper rest and enjoy yourself a proper Thursday night or day at work.
Probably isn't how you pictured your first spring festival, huh?
Not exactly.
Coffee?
How about a beer? Worth a shot. Hike, why am I...
Yeah, good night, Monrin. You sleep well, you dork.
The long and short of it is, Diane is charging you with stealing her USB drive.
What?
Did you steal this USB drive or not?
At least tell me you looked at it.
I can't. Sorry.
You need to.
You're conducting an investigation into Typhon, right? Everything you've been looking for is on that drive.
Despite my best efforts, the case is closed. The order came down today. I did what I could, but, the evidence just wasn't there.
Pike, you spineless son of a... Your mom was probably rolling in her grave right now. If she was dead.
I have the evidence. Right here.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, the fuck it does.
Look, what happened to my brother wasn't an accident. It was criminal. The files on that drive prove it.
That could be true.
Yes, it could be true. Sure.
The issue is, you stole Typhon's property. I can't work with that.
Isn't it a thing where even if there's reasonable cause or whatever the fuck the damn phrasing is, that evidence or crime can exist on a certain piece of, say, random USB drive, aren't they allowed to look? But then again, that gets into the whole entire issue of privacy and all kinds of. That's so fun.
Okay, I get the point. I'm sorry I stole the drive, but...
Apologizing isn't enough. Alex, you're not thinking about this clearly.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Diane wants to charge you with computer fraud. That's a federal crime, Alex. 5 to 10, easy.
Damn. Nani? Okay, hold up. Nani? My chat like fucking disappeared. Yeah, no. Illegally obtained evidence can't be used in court. The evidence was not illegally obtained in this case. She stole it? Yes. But it's kind of like, okay, I stole the gun to a murder scene. Police officer happens to catch it. If they wanted to run prints on it, they would be allowed to, and they can make inferences from that and get more information that they might even be able to use in court. They can't use maybe specifically the weapon information they found itself, but it could help immensely because they have in possession the equipment. And they never illegally seized the equipment. It just happened to fall into their hands, more or less. Which I get is very scummy because people have used that excuse for a lot of different things. Police specifically. But I'm just saying, this is very sus that he's just saying no. Straight up no. And yeah, sorry earlier, my chat like froze and everything just disappeared like that.
For 5 to 10 years?
It's not that bad. Hey, I talked to her, and despite how angry she is at everything you did, she's willing to let it go. If you agree to drop everything, Typhon won't press any charges.
But for the closed case, it would probably not hold. That I don't know. I don't know how like closed cases and all that jazz works. I only have my experience when I was a paralegal. So I don't know if like you could, how much you could actually do if the case is closed, especially from higher up. But that's just weird to me.
Why would she do that?
She just wants this whole thing to go away. This is how to make that happen.
Fuck that. I'm not signing it.
Yeah. Pair of legals. Yes, I was a pair of legals.
Anything.
Alex.
No. Typhon buried something in the mountains. Something so massive they ignored Gabe's call and set off the blast just to cover it up. Don't you want to know what it is?
What do you mean, cover it up?
Another blast, unannounced, set off at the exact same time at the old mining site. And all of it happened just a few weeks before inspections were set to begin. Come on, Pike. It's all right here.
Like I said, it doesn't matter. Alex, please, just sign the form, and we can both go back to the party.
No.
Alex, this is not an offer that you can choose.
I said no.
No, it's not an option.
What are you so scared of?
See? There's little suspicious activity going on behind him.
See for yourself.
Shit. What could be in that envelope?
All right, first things first, I'm gonna read his mind.
Please, I don't want you to get hurt.
Then help me, damn it. Pike's really shaken.
He fucking Typhon, bro. Typhon Mining Security Threat Evaluation. Chen Alexandra. Brother Gabriel Chen died in an accident related to Typhon Mining Blast. Intel shows that subject has a high level of determination and efficacy, right? I'm not trolling. Sophia's waking up. Negative affectation has persisted beyond predicted bereavement period. Subject also appears to have possession of confidential data and information. So they just have a lot of fucking information on her overall. Like they just been trailing her, watching her. Began following subject after meeting with Mac Loudon. Subject met with a man named, identified as Ryan Lucan, little else of note. So spent 3 hours in the apartment. Wi-Fi screen monitoring revealed searches into Typhon's history and legal. Oh, they're checking her fucking Google searches, dude. Okay. Subject met and spoke with client in the Black Lantern. It appears subject has stolen an object from client. Typhon Mining Security Threat Evaluation. Ryan, close friend Gabriel Chen, died in an accident. Assisting Alexander Tran with her efforts against Typhon, involved in an extremely distraught over accident. Who just redeemed that? I should not see who redeemed that. Hey, Snake. Totally not illegal like that. The way they're spying on her, not illegal. But the way the private investigator was doing it, also not. No, hold up. No, I would say not illegal. The way they're both doing it is illegal as fuck, is what I meant to say. Sorry. Wanted to make that clear. Subject has high levels of knowledge of both geography and residents of Haven. What the hell is this photo? What the hell is that photo? Is that when we saved Ethan? Did they have a fucking photograph of us saving Ethan? No fucking shot, right? Or is that us hugging? Is that us hugging Ryan? Don't know. Gingrich Stephanie, close friend Gabriel Chen, died in an accident. Assisting Alexander Chen in her efforts has proven resourceful and dangerous. How are you doing, Snake? Oh God. Hello. Not really. It is. It's icy. How are you, Snake? Hope your life is treating you well.
Is this a threat?
No, that part specifically, checking someone's search history through Wi-Fi, I think is illegal. It's illegal, straight up illegal activity. But I know it happens anyways because it's hard to track. So it's one of those things that's difficult.
Huh? The Typhon, a global organization with billions in revenue, an army of lawyers, and who knows how many politicians in their pockets would just throw up their hands and say, "You got us."
I thought I could get justice for Gabe.
Yeah, well, Typhon has their own idea of justice.
Shit.
Spooky. Oh no, my chat disappeared again. There it is. Hi, Mrs. Hitsuga. Mrs. Hitsuga. I'm okay. I woke up to see Tizalu. I'll stay for 30 minutes and go back to sleep. Oh, you're like Ernie then. Woke up. Can't sleep.
I want nothing more than to make these fuckers pay. I've learned the hard way that it's not possible. They're too big.
I love my Sophia. She's just waking up.
You can hate me if you want. Call me a coward. But I don't want to lose you like we lost Gabe.
Pike is terrified of Typhon. I bet if I took his fear away. But it's not just about me. Steph and Ryan are in danger too. Fuck. I want to hurt Typhon so bad. But can I really put their lives at risk along with mine?
Fuck. All right, so this is the big choice I have to make this time, huh? We either sign the affidavit, they drop all charges, and nothing gets resolved, or we take his fear away. But it might risk the lives of Steph and Ryan. Actually, fuck. Like, I don't know how to... How am I supposed to make this choice? This is actually a much more difficult choice than I thought it would be. Wait, what? Chat randomly like pauses and disappears and then comes back. Like it's really fucking... Hold up. I need to open... I'm gonna open Twitch chat on browser and then just use the browser chat because my chat keeps turning off and on. It's kind of annoying. Here goes my stream. Someone type something real quick. Oh, actually, no, I see chat. Hog. Keep that up there for now. Actually, I'm just gonna close that. Something real quick. Bless. No, bless. Okay, I remember taking his fear. This is when I have zero moral compass. I take his emotions away. I like some more sleep. It's not about the deal. There's about the moral. Yeah, this is about the moral dilemma of taking someone's emotions away with my... Like, honestly, I don't give a fuck about the deal. I don't care about the affidavit. But I have to make the decision on whether or not I'm willing to take his fear away from him. This is different in the context of Charlotte and her anger. It's different in that context because in that context, taking away her anger not let her grow as a person, more or less. She wouldn't be able to overcome the struggles and deal with it. In this case, it could also be the same. You could argue that as well. But there's something sinister about taking his fear away. But I also feel like I have to, anyways, if I genuinely wanted to take or get justice for Gabe. In the previous interaction with Charlotte, even if we didn't take away her fear, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't take away her fear. I can still be there for you. I'll be a friend to you. I'll still be there to help you. In this particular case, I don't take his fear away. I have to sign the affidavit, which is a legal binding thing that says I can no longer pursue Typhon mining. I think obviously that's up to conditions. If Typhon mining did some fucked up shit, you probably get overlooked in court. But if you wanted proper justice, you need to get rid of his fear. This is genuinely a strange scenario, and it's intentional. They've definitely made this intentional. It's like you either take away his shit or you sign the affidavit, and I feel like it's not even. I think most people will take away his fear here, just because signing the affidavit is actually a bullshit option to begin with. It's like it's fucking stupid. But I'm just so I'm letting you guys know, I'm going to take his fear away, I think. So what I'm gonna do. And whatever moral ramifications that come from that, we'll just have to deal with the consequences of it. Unfortunately. Because I don't think signing the affidavit is gonna get anything done. It's just gonna cause more issues, and everyone's gonna hate their lives in this game. Also, we risk harming Ryan, Steph, and even Pike in this case, don't we? Kill him, do it. Oh, hi, Illyria. How are you? Oh wait, Snake, you don't have a VIP badge. Hold up, I got you, Snake. I got you. You didn't tell me that. Don't worry. Shazam. I chose wrong. Really? What did you choose? Oh. Signing the affidavit, I don't think gets things done. Risk taking Pike's fear. People may actually get hurt from this. That'd be more interesting anyways. Let's fucking go.
Do you want to risk your life over this? Gabe, Mac, Alex, who's next? Fuck. Just keep your head down, dummy. You're just a shitheel. Typhon's major league. Typhon doesn't lose. Typhon disappears, people. Let them get killed.
Wreaking havoc in town by taking all the emotions away and then skip. That's what all your choices feel like to me, aside from the way the plot moves forwards, of course. Pretty punk rock of you, Hitsu. Pretty punk rock of me, I know. What do you mean? I didn't take away Charlotte's emotions. I let her deal with it.
Not you.
Or saying like in general in the game.
I know you're afraid. I am too. I know you think that Typhon is too big, too invincible.
That's kind of funny though. Like, fuck this town. I took all their emotions away. They're emotionless people now.
I just need your help.
Instead of chili, they eat oatmeal for the spring festival. We already took away his fear. He has courage already.
If not for me, then for Gabe. Please.
Fuck. I'll think about it.
Thank you.
Get the hell out of here.
Really?
Alex. Be careful.
I feel like Pike has to be careful now. I have superpowers, bruh. I wonder what the wrong choice is. I mean, how bad is the wrong choice? Like, does entire city just burn? Is it some Joker level chaos? I'm very curious. I might have to take a break here. Not like your superpowers would keep you. It definitely would. Alex, come see me when you get a chance. Jed. Our powers are honestly really fucking overpowered. She's not using him in an overpowered kind of way.
Those pictures. How long have they been watching
But
us?
she's really busted when you really think about it. Nope, the fear's getting to her. Not signing no affidavit. Fuck no.
I have no idea what to do next. Maybe talking to Jed will help me feel better.
I might take a mini break here. And by mini break, I mean I'm just gonna run downstairs and grab me some water because my throat feels kind of parched.
Looks like I'm on my own now. I don't want to drag Ryan and Stefan any deeper.
I'm getting a lot of messages.
I'm glad Ducky had a nice night.
Oh,
Deserves it.
really good to see you out there this year, Duck. It's certainly a time for new beginnings. That's a spirit, Ducky. That makes me happy.
Maybe I should start charging for my services.
2 of your neighbors have changed their relationship status. Josh Hopkins and Julia Crow are now in a relationship. Oh my god, finally. For real, man. Come on. Did everyone know but us? We got them laid. I fucking knew it. What a festival, Haven. We ate, drank, and made merry. We tasted chilies. We rocked out to some music and enjoyed a lovely spring night in our beautiful town. Thanks for another great year, everyone. Great festival, and thanks to our business partners and everyone who put so much work into making the festival possible. Our pleasure. The smiles and laughter make it all worth it. Best part of the year.
It was special for me too, Steph.
Sadly, the spring festival is over, but the fun continues at Avalanche Ice Cream. Share your favorite memory from the festival in the comments and get one scoop on us. I liked when Josh burned his mouth on the chili. I did not, but I get a free scoop in that burn stat. The music, hands down, we love the set too. One free scoop. I finally grew a pair and told a very special girl how special she is. And the scariest part wasn't telling her, it was realizing how dumb I was for waiting this long. I think you deserve 2 scoops for that one. Hell yeah. Precious. I'm gonna go get me some water real quick. Because my throat is actually really parched. And we'll sit in the game, see what she does while she's sitting. BRB, guys.
I had no idea what I was.
Oh wait, she's saying stuff. Fuck.
Did I? Buried secrets, evil mining corporations, death threats. Seem to have turned, all right.
Still making puns.
Maybe I'll just bike out to the mine, dig up some answers myself.
Why do I feel like that's actually gonna happen? Mine Hunt. Intriguing name. I just thought about the premise.
Time for a change of clothes. Feels like the LARP was 100 years ago.
You want to change clothes? Like, actually? Got me some water. Let me drink some water.
Might as well go talk to Jed now.
Can you guys hear me all right? I just messed with my water bottle and I accidentally, like, went crazy with the mic.
I feel.
Okay, you guys can hear me still. Because I the mic, like, swung around like crazy for a second.
I feel a bit better. I guess I can go see the boss man now. I guess the night wasn't all bad.
You hear all the droplets in the mic? Yes. Ah, fantastic. Dork. Lindor Chalk. Oh, God.
Tell me what you're doing here.
Let's flip a coin. Heads I tell you, tails we go out on a date. Ding! Here, this chocolate's for you, Donko.
I may have heard of that game, but I don't know too much about it.
Part of the game.
I think I might just make her into a sniper. It would make sense to make into a sniper at this point. It would be nice to have her on a horse, but I don't think we'll have.
See, I hear you.
We would have to inherit skills for that.
But I don't see the clip. Nani? What the hell? Wait, the chat on screen is like ages old as well. Maybe it's special chocolate. It is special chocolate. Let me catch up with chat. Vinny, hello, hi, Dork. Persa, hello, Persa Loodles. I remember seeing you before and chatting with you before. Rue, you're a dork. Hello again. Novo, you're a dork. Hello again. Kamikosu, you're a dork. Hello again. Okay, I don't know how to say this. Agmine Rec. All I saw in your name was cum. So can I call you cum? Sorry. Let me know how to pronounce that properly. King Atlan, hello. How are you doing? How was Valorant yesterday? I was watching for a little bit of that. And JD, hello. JD. Oh. Sorry, Brodo, hello. You're a dork. I'm calling it. What do you mean the stream break? I'm calling Dan broke it. Yeah, it's just over. Is my face here? Hitsu, you're the dork? Oh, you can't say that. Hitsu, what do you mean I can't say that? What do you just call him? No way. Hitsu watches? I watch a lot of you guys. I'm just always lurking. Like a creep. I'm always fucking lurking. You just call him JD. I might have. Can I actually call you cum? These nuts. Hold up. Yeah, my everything like has been breaking. Okay. I know you just raided, but I want to restart my OBS because like everything stopped fucking working. I'm not even sure if this would work.
See you, chump.
No, that's how it works. Like my everything has kind of stopped working though. So I'm gonna restart OBS real quick. Let me restart it. Oh no, what's happening?